There's an adventure inside all of us. Some of us live for that adventure. Others let it take them someplace new. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Well, good morning, everyone. You know, we've got a great event coming up in a couple of weeks. In fact, just a little less than 2 weeks from now. Senior Medical Patrol, HICAP, and PSA2 are all joining forces to help you prevent fraud. It's the Shred Fraud event, much like last year. Saturday, July 18th, so a little less than 2 weeks, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 1647 Hartnell Avenue. If you have any open mail, old bills, sensitive documents, Medicare statements that, you know, the thing is you put them in your recycle bin, and thieves can get into your recycle bin and then get all of that sensitive information, which is not a good thing. So you can take all of that sensitive information, take it to the Shred event, and then they will shred it right there on site. Be sure to check that out. Put that in your calendar for Saturday, July 18th, starting at 1 p.m. All right, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. All right, there's a look at a radar. We did see a few thunderstorms develop as expected, mainly in Modoc and extreme northeastern Lassen County. You'll also notice a little bit of a blip there of a few showers that try to develop in northern Shasta County last night and early this morning. But since then, of course, things have pretty much cleared on out. So let's take a look at our Divine Sky camera here, looking at a live shot, looking at some of the cameras, some of the clouds that we do have out there this morning. Now again, these are clouds left over from some of the showers that we did see last night that are kind of moving on out of here. So we do expect more sunshine. This is the lookout Siskiyou County, Lake Shastina. This is the Lake Shastina Golf Resort, sponsored by Elwood Ranch, and we've got some clouds out there this morning. Otherwise, we do expect to see mainly clear skies. And looking at the Jones Valley Resort out there in Shasta Lake, sponsored by Elwood Ranch. And you can see not a lot of activity with the boats this morning, pretty early, but we do have some clouds there as well. There's a look at Crescent City Harbor District, and we are starting up the low clouds. There might even be some light drizzle in some areas along the coast. All right, here is a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Monday, July 6th, looking at our Skeeter meter for this week, down 0.2 points. So yes, it's always good to see the Skeeter activity go down in activity here. You can always call the Shasta Mosquito and Vector Control at the number on your screen for any concerns you may have about mosquitoes, standing water, and you can also contact them to bring some fish to put into your pond that can also help prevent at least your pond becoming a breeding ground as well. Temperatures right now are in the low to mid 60s in the valley, 50s for most of the higher elevations, and pretty much in the 50s for the coast as well. Now, as we mentioned, there is some of that fog along the coast, maybe some areas of drizzle. Otherwise, we are expecting to see things begin to clear out a bit here as we do go through the morning and afternoon hours with mainly sunny skies. So you can see some of the leftover cloud cover associated with that very weak disturbance that passed through. This is something I mentioned last Friday, is that the remnants from Tropical Storm Douglas over the Pacific did work its way into Northern California. You may have noticed the added cloud cover yesterday. That was the remnants of Tropical Storm Douglas, but it also brought in some of those showers and thunderstorms that we did see yesterday afternoon and evening. Now, the Storm Prediction Center, I think, is being a little overly aggressive with the western extent of how far these thunderstorms may develop today. I want to basically take a lot of that green out and just put it in northeastern Lassen and into eastern portions of Modoc County, basically mainly east of Highway 395. So let's take a look at our HRRR forecast model. And it's actually updated since I did my morning update. And now the HRRR forecast model is in line with our in-house forecast model, basically saying, I don't think we're going to see anything. But here's the thing. We still can't rule out the potential for a stray thunderstorm or a shower popping up east of Highway 395. Otherwise, it's going to be fairly dry and really across the board. All right, we do take a look at our swimming forecast for today. We're talking sunny skies for today. Of course, once those clouds this morning move on out. So it's a great day to head on out to the swimming pool with those kiddos. But first, you got to remind yourself of some safety tips that Mindy Odell from Reading ISR has, and we are doing a weekly segment where she gives us some great advice on safety for your kids and around the pool in general, and in the water in general as well. And this week we learned about floaties and inflatable armbands.
Hey Weather NorCal, this week let's talk flotation devices. Floaties and inflatable armbands are fun pool toys, but they are not safety devices. Floaties can actually teach your child the drowning position, as well as giving parents and children a false sense of security around the water. So when children wear these floaties in the pool, parents tend to sit back and relax, and children gain more confidence than their swimming skills actually support. So if you have a child that isn't water safe yet, the safest place for them is not in the floatie. It's within arm's distance of a responsible adult. I'm Mindy Odell, certified ISR swim instructor and your water safety expert, reminding you that drowning is preventable and every child deserves to feel safe around the water.
Some more great advice coming in from Mindy Odell from Reading ISR. She is one of the only certified ISR swim instructors in the area, so you can start as early as 6 months and she will give your child all of the tools to help them effectively stay safe in the water and prevent from drowning. That is the big thing right there. And the ISR swim instruction is really the best way to go, folks, when it comes to the best overall safety for your child. So be sure to check her out at readingisr.com, and we'll have a tip for you every Monday, so be sure to keep checking in there. You can also check out all of the tips that she has throughout the weeks from weathernorcal.com and just click on the Mindy's water safety tips. All right, here's a look at your temperatures for today. We're talking mid to upper 90s in the valley, 80s and some 90s for the higher elevations, and low to mid 60s for the coast. Tonight, I'm expecting another mild night, especially for the valley, but even the mountains barely getting out of the 50s for those overnight lows, as well as the coast. Looking at your 7-day outlook, we're going to start off below normal. And we're at the time of the year, by the way, where the normal high for the valley is about upper 90s. So if we can stay below 100 degrees, we're good. But by Wednesday, Thursday, we're back up above 100 degrees, at least for the north end of the valley, and we keep it that way going into this upcoming weekend. We take a look at the coast, low 60s, and that marine layer really holding on. Temperatures are also warming up for the inland areas and for the higher elevations. Now, I've still included a chance for a shower or a thunderstorm, especially in eastern Modoc County. Alturas, your chances are going to be slimmer, but to the east of you, Cedarville, for example, Eagleville, Fort Jones, all of those areas may see a chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but I think a lot of that activity will be off to our east. Quick look at our fire weather update. I'm not going to show you the winds because I'm not concerned about the winds when we're talking about our fire weather risk. It's mainly the heat and the dry conditions. This is that time of the year we just can't let our guard down ever. And if we look at our humidity levels, we're still down into the single digits. Now, if you look, we're mainly in the yellows and oranges. That is typical for this time of the year. What you'll notice, though, a bit more orange on the map by the time we get into Thursday, because Thursday is when we expect some of the hottest temperatures. So we include the heat, we include the low humidity, and of course on top of that, winds a little breezy coming in out of the south. All right, that's a look at your Krueger's Quick Cast and the latest on the fire weather outlook. Let's take a look at some of the cameras around the region once again, looking at our Divine Sky Cam, showing some of the clouds we do have off in the distance, but no need to worry. If you have outdoor plans, we're not going to see that rain. Lake Shastina, out at the Lake Shastina Golf Resort, a few clouds out there this morning. This is a look at the Jones Valley Resort, Shasta Lake Sky Cam. This is looking out from sponsored by Elwood Ranch, that is. And there you can see, of course, the water looks pretty calm this morning and not much in the way of wind. Should be good if you like to get out there and fish. Taking a look out at the Soda Ridge camera, there is a very clear view of some of the clouds that we are seeing out there this morning. Lassen Park, I was actually out there yesterday. My wife and I took a beautiful hike out at Kings Creek waterfall. Beautiful, beautiful. If you've never been out there, I'll highly recommend it. And then, of course, we drove through the rest of the park very casually, got out, checked out a few of the sites, and including this visitor center. I kind of walked around and I was just wanted to see the camera that I show every morning right here on Coffee with Krueger. Taking a look at Lake Oroville. This is the sky cam here, where it looks like we have a little bit of haze. And you're going to notice that there's still going to be a little bit of haze out there in those early morning hours. Main Street, Chico, Highway 32. Not a lot of traffic out there this morning. Maybe some of you forgot that you got to work this morning. I don't know. Take a look at Crescent City Harbor District. Looks like we got a small boat out there. Blinking its lights a little bit here, but we are definitely looking at some of the fog patchy, dense fog, especially as you start heading out. Take a look at the Bald Hill West sky cam looking at Hoopa Valley. We're still kind of confirming a lot of the cloud cover we do have out there this morning, but I do anticipate a lot of this cloud cover to dissipate as we go through the morning hours. Well, we have a major sponsor here, our primary sponsor, that is, of Coffee with Krueger, is Wind River Resort and Casino, and they've got some great shows coming up in the next month or two. Check it out.
Time to saddle up and ride west. Wind River Resort and Casino is proud to bring Wyoming's own Ian Munsick to the Event Center stage. Friday, July 24th. Rising fast and bringing his signature sound. Ian brings the West to the rest. Tickets are just $60 plus fees. But they won't last long, so don't wait. Make it a country night to remember. Call 1-800-280-YOU-WIN to reserve your room and grab your tickets. Dust off those boots. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
All right, let's get into that deeper dive forecast. We're going to take a look at what we expect for the rest of the week. As we go into the weekend, we're also going to take a closer look at that potential for those showers and thunderstorms for some of the higher elevations. So, slight chance for mountain thunderstorms. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Highs near normal to start off the week, but it warms up near the middle and latter part of the week going into the weekend. Now, for the coast, we're talking overnight, early morning fog, some drizzle. We're seeing that. And the fog that we do see develop, it's going to have a hard time burning off through the day, at least through the middle of the week. Temperatures right now, pretty mild, 65 degrees in Redding, 52 out in Alturas, and that's the same story out along the coast, low 50s there. Let's take a look at the radar from the last 8 hours or so, and if you look closely, yeah, there's just, 8 hours ago, a few lightning strikes in northern Modoc County. There were a few thunderstorms even late yesterday afternoon. And late last night, look at that, we saw a little bit of activity developing in northern Shasta County as well in the mountains there. Since then, of course, as you can see, things have dried out. Now, there could be some more development later this afternoon, especially in east of Highway 395 in Modoc, northeastern Lassen County. You can see a little bit of a spin right here. This right here is moisture. It's remnants from Tropical Storm Douglas from last week. It did work its way northward, and we did see the cloud cover out there on Sunday. That was the remnants. That was the moisture from Douglas, right? And it is also the moisture source for the thunderstorms that we did see develop in some areas as well. So let's take a look at the overall trend. Typical summer heat is going to be a little bit above normal by the middle and latter part of the week going into next week. But this high pressure right here is going to be to our south. It's going to be flattened by these storm systems to the north, but that will not prevent us from staying below 100 degrees in most cases for the valley. South end of the valley, upper 90s by Wednesday, Thursday. North end of the valley around Redding, Red Bluff, 100 to even upwards of 105 degrees. This heat will then rebuild back over the western United States. That will expand into Northern California. As it does that, temperatures should stay in the upper 90s to lower 100s for all of the valley, not only Monday, but through all of next week. This trend is going to really stick around for a while. And then you can see this, it's not going anywhere. And then we still have these storm systems riding to our north, staying to our north. Climate Prediction Center is putting us in that above normal category, and that's to be expected. We've only got today and tomorrow that will keep it most likely below normal, which, by the way, the normal high is about 100 degrees. So if we can keep it below, 199 degrees, we're good. But then once we kind of start to warm up on Wednesday, we'll see a little bit of a spike on Thursday. 105 degrees for Redding, probably a little over 100 degrees for Chico. But then we level out. You see that? We go into Friday through the weekend, about 100 to 102, maybe a little bit warmer than that for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But that's just slightly above normal for this time of the year. Chico, you'll probably be looking at more like the upper 90s during that time frame. But you get the idea. This is typical. There's nothing unusual about the heat that we're going to be looking at here over the next week or so. All right, let's take a look at Futurecast. And remember, the HRRR forecast model did not show any showers or thunderstorms this afternoon anywhere over Northern California, including northeastern Modoc and northeastern Lassen County. But earlier this morning, it was showing that. So it's backed off on that potential. So you can see here, not much. I would say if we see any thunderstorms, it'll be east of Highway 395. Warner Mountains, Eagleville, out towards Cedarville, maybe just northeastern Lassen County. That course, will then shift eastward. Most of the thunderstorms, as you can see, are going to be in southeastern Oregon and then working its way into Nevada as well. Otherwise, I think the rest of us are dry. In the meantime, for the coast, you're seeing that fog really kind of sticking around through a good portion of the day, if not all day. There may be a few spots that may see some clearing today and tomorrow, but you can see how persistent that fog is here through Wednesday. Also seeing some afternoon clouds developing in the mountains as we typically see this time of the year, but no rain, no thunderstorms, and plenty of sunshine for the valley. Going into your Thursday, that is a little bit of that relief possibly from the fog for parts of the coast, maybe seeing some clearing with partly cloudy skies. Here's a look at the Storm Prediction Center, and most likely as we go through the afternoon, they're going to update this and really take a lot of this green off of the map. Where I want to keep the green, if we're going to see any chances for thunderstorms, would mainly be east of Highway 395 in this general area right here. Everywhere else, I just want to erase it because I just don't think we're going to quite see it reach that far west. Now, tomorrow, there is still maybe just enough added instability for a few stray showers or thunderstorms in extreme northeastern Modoc County. But at this point, I wouldn't count on it. Taking a look at the lake levels for the first time in a while, we're right at 100% of the historical average. That's good. We've been above normal. That's great. But we are starting to see these percentages begin to slowly drop. And even if we do eventually drop below 100, if we can keep it in the mid to upper 90% range through the rest of the summer, I think we're in good shape. And so far, the lakes are in amazing shape. If you've been out there, you know what I'm talking about. We take a look at the wave heights, and they are starting to drop a little bit here today and even tomorrow. So no concerns about small craft advisories, but it is mainly that fog. And there will be some of that patchy, dense fog out there, so be aware of that if you're on a large or even a small vessel. There you can see those winds coming out of the northwest at 5 knots, waves from the northwest at 5 feet at 9 seconds, and from the southwest at 2 feet at 17 seconds. Here's your neighborhood forecast, sponsored by Dignity Health and Grange Co-op. You're going to be looking at those temperatures generally in the mid-60s. Mid-60s, wouldn't that be nice? How about mid-90s, though, for Trinity County? And really looking at the 7-day trend, same old song and dance, isn't it? Basically mid-90s through this week and through this upcoming weekend. The coast, same old song and dance here as well. Low 60s. That fog is going to stick around. We may see some burning off. Better chances by Thursday. Otherwise, upper 80s to low 90s inland for the next 7 days. For Siskiyou County, you're talking temperatures upper 80s to around 90 for the next 7 days. Modoc County, maybe a little bit warmer than Siskiyou, but generally staying in the upper 80s to low 90s as well. If we see a thunderstorm today, Fort Bidwell, Cedarville, Eagleville. These would be the best chances. And even along the crest of, say, the Warner Mountains. And then maybe northeastern Lassen, right? But overall, I don't think we're going to see much activity there. Eastern Mountains, you're staying dry. Highs for Susanville are expected to stay in the mid-90s on average, although warming up by Saturday with a high of about 97. For the valley to the south, temperatures in the low to mid-90s here. You're looking for a high of about 93 for Durham, 92 degrees for Biggs. Your 7-day forecast for Chico. We're up to about 100 degrees by Thursday, and there's kind of a flirting with that triple-digit mark in the upper 90s for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We take you up to the north, and yeah, we're still in the mid to upper 90s for the north end of the valley, but that's to be expected. Looking at that 7-day forecast for Redding, we're going to see a little spike on Friday up to about 105 degrees, on Thursday with a high of 105 degrees, and then about 102 for Friday, Saturday, 101 by the time we do get into your Sunday. Had a lot of people kind of checking in here this morning. We got Tracy Sackett, the first to check in this morning, say good morning from outside MacArthur, and good morning to you. Hopefully you're having a good start to the day. We've got Rachel Maxey saying grand rising. Tim Moore is saying, Mike Krueger, weather NorCal, it's chilly this morning wherever you are. Well, isn't that nice? Not so chilly, especially in the valley, a little bit on the mild side. And yeah, we've also got Rachel saying, I'm liking the cloud cover. And it is nice. The cloud cover does help to keep us from, kind of cooling off a whole lot. Tim Moore said, also, we had some lightning strikes in Modoc County. Lookout. Can we see more of them today? There's a chance you might. As I was kind of putting in the forecast there, the chances, I think, may be a bit slimmer than we saw yesterday. Essentially, that moisture that came in from Douglas, Tropical Storm Douglas from last week, that did work through on Sunday, right? And that's what gave us the cloud cover. Many of us did see yesterday, but it was also the source of moisture for the thunderstorms that we saw in Modoc County. And even late last night, early this morning, in parts of northern Shasta County, at least some showers, and in northeastern Lassen County as well. Models are backing off on that potential for thunderstorms today. We're beginning to lose a little bit of that moisture source, but still some left over from Douglas that we are seeing here for today. So it's not out of the question, especially east of Highway 395 is what I'd say for you, Tim. And we've got Kenny Elwood. Good morning to you. So glad you could join us this morning, Kenny. And I hope you all are having yourselves a great start to the day as well. Let's go and take a look at the calendar and see what's going on with national holidays. Well, today is National Fried Chicken Day. So if you love fried chicken, then you are in good shape because you can have a reason to have fried chicken for lunch or dinner today. We also have National Hand Roll Day. That is good stuff. So it looks like seaweed and rice and all that good stuff. Sushi is good stuff if you like the sushi, that is. All right, National Air Traffic Control Day. Of course, with some of the issues we had with air traffic control about a little over a month ago or so, I'm sure they would appreciate you celebrating them and wishing them and thanking them for their work that they do to keep our skies safe when we are out there traveling. Well, that's going to do it for us today, folks. I hope you are having yourselves a great start to your work week. I hope you had a great 4th of July weekend. A lot of great stuff that was going on. Like I said, I had an opportunity to check out Lassen Volcanic National Park. My wife and I went out there and we checked out, I think it's called the Kings Creek Waterfall. I think that's what it's called. And just beautiful. And the route that you take, there's one that it's a one-way, and for good reason. Number one, it's very steep down, so you could slip and it'd be very easy. But really going up the long way, you get this beautiful view from atop, looking down at the cascading waterfalls. You can see the water. It's just beautiful. And then you go down, you actually get to see a couple of the waterfalls and the main waterfall at the end. And then you actually work your way up some stairs along these beautiful cascading waterfalls. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. 25 plus years that I've been here and I've never been there. I couldn't believe it. Absolutely, that I've never been there. And then of course we just kind of drove casually through the rest of the park. We were going to go to Bump as Hell, but my goodness, the traffic, the parking, the works, right? So we got there early enough that we beat the crowd for our first hike, which we were very grateful for, but it was very crowded. And one of the things I always forget is you notice around you, almost everyone is speaking a foreign language. You forget that people from all around the world are visiting this beautiful area that we live in. Lassen Volcanic National Park, Mount Shasta, Whiskey Town, right? So a lot of people come out from across the world to see some of the beautiful things that we have here. So you got to usually try to take advantage of that. Now, typically we don't like to go during the busy season, but we got up early enough that we were able to at least get that first morning hike without the big crowd. We have got Tracy Sackett also saying, thanks, Mike Krueger. Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you to Tracy, and thank you all for checking in this morning. We're going to leave you with a little bit of jazzy music. We're also going to leave you with some beautiful cameras right here in Weather NorCal and across many other parts of Northern California. In the meantime, be sure to keep checking in throughout the day. Meteorologist Aurora Murray will have your midday update, and we will also she'll have your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day.